Welcome, welcome, welcome here to the premiere series at DESI Racing. Here we got these trucks. They're going to be barreling around Michigan Speedway here today, and it's going to be an interesting one. I'm joined in the booth today by our producer Damon O'Brien, also Christian Clark. How are you doing today, brother?
Man, doing fantastic. Excited to watch these guys run around this 2 mile track. Just getting it and boogieing out there, man. Gonna get some big speed and hopefully a lot of fun, fast battles out there.
And before we go through our starting lineup, we're going to also call out our special guest broadcaster here, Scott Hodge. How are you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. This track is so fun to watch in this next season car, and we can just see how fast these cars can go at this track. Just wait and see.
Yes, sir. It's going to be an interesting one as we go through our starting lineup. And I'm going to start with the first row. Starting on pole, you got Mr. Judson Curtis, Drive By Performance, and then John Crosby on Beer Run Racing.
Row two, we got the 68 rafting driver of Tom Ringer on his outside. Beer Run Racing's Tad Dabney in that number 9 truck.
After that stellar group, we got Hunter Davis, TRN driver, and Chuck Burley, another Rat Fink guy right there.
Coming on row 4, Ratfink's 56 Mark Holloway and the 23 of Thomas Long starting in 8th.
After that, you got TRN's own Tanner Honeycutt and TRN's newest acquisition, Charles Connor, right there.
And that's a huge acquisition for TRN. 67 of Charles Connor is a really good driver. Looking at row 6, another good TRN driver, the 32 of Jonathan Geis with Rat Fink Racing, Todd Perron in that 69 truck.
Don't sleep on that row 6. It's a powerful group. But row 7, we've got Sean Dion back there, and he is going to be joined by Brandon Miles, Drive By Performance teammate to Judson Curtis. And then also we got Brian Souza, who is going to be a Beer Run Racing guy. He's going to be back there with Brandon Hinton, TRN driver.
Man, Brandon Hinton, I say this every week. Don't sleep on him. He doesn't like to qualify. He likes to start in the back, bide his time, and meticulously pick these drivers off one at a time. We've seen it time and time again. Just the patience and the speed that man has. We'll see him up front here pretty soon.
Another guy to keep an eye on, this person starting right next to him, is Brian Souza. He is really good about saving his tires, saving his fuel, and making it to the front when it counts. So that's another guy to keep on. What about you, Scott Hodge? What are you thinking about this race out here?
Yeah, just what I said. I think if you just pace yourself and just do like Hinton's doing, he don't like to qualify, but he gets up there pretty quick, and he was doing the legacy, and he was doing just fine.
Yeah, a lot of guys carry a lot of speed, especially on a track like this. These guys can get in the draft, get in their groove, and make up a whole lot of position early. Um, Edwin, what do you think we're going to see here for the strategies out here? You think we're going to see a lot of these teams trying to pit together? You think it's just going to be kind of sporadic?
Well, for these first 15 laps in this first stage, because our stage breaks are 15 and 55, we're going to see these guys pushing hard. But after that, they're going to understand how hard they can push the car. And then when they go to 55, they're going to understand their fuel strat. And then after that, it's going to be no holds bars. Strategy is going to reign supreme. But a guy that I'm going to be keeping my eye on for managing, pushing hard, and the fuel strat is the 88 of Hunter Davis. He's on a 3-in-a-row win streak, and he's looking to make it 4 right now, and he's starting in the P5 position. So this is going to be a very interesting one for him. He is the points leader. He just barely took that lead from Tom Ringer, who's starting right in front of him. So this is going to be an interesting start.
I do have to say I've never seen a dominant performance at Michigan like I did with the 88, battling it out with the 68 of Tom Ringer. They were fighting for position all night. The 88 ended up coming out on top, and now here we are back at it again in the Premier Truck Series.
Yes, sir. As we get that green flag waving, 35 is the first one to get going. He's got that 68 behind him. Tad Dabney in the second row. He maintained a decent gap from John Crosby, his teammate, as they barrel off into turn one. And now they technically can do this flat out, but that's going to cause you to push up. As you see, Tom Ringer does. He is full throttle there. He is cooking it. John Crosby's actually going to take Judson Curtis on the outside and get going. And Tad Dabney's going to fly into P2.
Yeah, these guys are able to carry a lot of speed, a lot of momentum up there on that top line. It's not the preferred line. This track isn't asphalt, concrete track rather, and it is horrible for trying to save tires. And so that top line is not going to do you any favors. But in a situation like that where you're able to get early position, it's going to help them out a lot.
I think that cold tires just kind of bit Tad Dabney. Scott Hodge, did you see what happened to that 9 car? You saw him just kind of pitch up right there, got loose in front of the 68 and had to save that vehicle.
Yeah, I think it's just those cold tires. I think once these tires get good, and I think you'll see how these cars run here in about next 2 to 4 laps. You'll see how these cars will run.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. And
Being patient early in this race with a kind of warmer track and cold tires is crucial, and these premier guys are smart enough to know that, and we see now that the front runners are able to get into their preferred lines, and that's where we're going to see them most of the night.
And we see John Crosby has kind of separated himself from the yellow
56
out.
gets spun. Mark Holloway getting spun on the back stretch. Man, that was a huge hit. Hopefully he didn't sustain too much damage. They don't have fast repairs in this series.
We're going to take a look at a replay on that, try and see what we happened with Mark Holloway there.
67, Charles Connor on his outside. Oh, let's look at that from Connor's perspective. Back that up. He disappeared, and I think he didn't know where he was.
Yeah, right when he disappeared, you see the 67 start moving down because he doesn't know if that car has cleared him off the nose. And right when that vehicle reappeared, he just was right there at that rear quarter panel.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate early event for the 56 wrapping driver. Hopefully he didn't get too much damage and we're able to get back out on track and get some more green flag runs here.
And that's the tough part about when somebody's blinking around you. You know, you have no idea where they're going to resurface at, and that's just kind of what happened there.
Yeah, but while we're under caution, let's go ahead and look at some of these drivers. We got 35 Justin Curtis. Last week was running up front all night. I mean, he led a huge amount of laps until he ended up getting surpassed by the 88, who ended up taking it. Tom Ringer, fast driver. He always has fast trucks.
Yes, you know, you get a lot of noticeable people in, as you already see, Crosby has kind of checked out. Hodge, you've raced with a few of these people before. How do you think that they're currently looking right now?
I think they're looking pretty good. I think just look at Hinton. He's already moved up 4 spots.
Yeah, we're going to see him slowly move up the field all night. I mean, and he's sneaky about it. Right now, he's in 12th. Like you said, he's moved up 4 spots. We'll be watching a battle with the leaders, and next thing we know, we're going to be watching Hinton trying to work up into the top 5.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what these guys do as they come around pacing again. You know, they've got pretty much one more lap before they go double file again. I'm curious to see how that 73 fires off again. Now he's going to have that 35 to his outside, So as we can see, our first 5 rows right here, 73, 35, Crosby, Curtis, 68, 4, Ringer, Burley, teammates, Davis, Tad Dabney, Thomas Long, Charles Connor, Todd Perrant, and Brandon Miles. And Brandon Miles has moved his way up as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we get a lot of early shuffling around here. It's usually later in the run where you see the guys spread out and we don't see as many passes. But right now, I think the best chance for the 35 is going to have at getting in front of that 73 is going to be on this restart. If he times it right and can keep that momentum on that high line, he can come out in front on that backstretch, and then it's just going to be sailing on from there.
Oh yeah, and if you look at our top six, let's just go for top six. The first two have swapped positions. Okay, the 73 started second, 35 started first. They're swapped. Third place guy Tom Ringer, he's running where he started. Then you have Chuck Burley, who started sixth in P4. Hunter Davis, where he started, and then Tad Dabney started P4 and now in P6. So not so much of a lot of shakeup going on up there.
Yeah, I mean, you see from what you're talking there, couple people have gained position, couple people have lost position, but nothing like dramatic or anything that's gonna be getting into these guys' heads. I think a lot of these guys have the patience and are gonna be able to stick to what they know and get on their lines and keep pushing. Scott, who's your hopeful for tonight? Who out of these drivers are you hoping to keep an eye on and watch finish up in the front tonight?
Man, I really want either the. It's a hard question here. It's so early though.
It's a really hard question. There's so many good drivers out there.
Yeah, there's so many, but there's so many to pick from. But let's see how this lap goes, and I might have my decision later here in a couple laps.
Sounds good. As we go green here, 73. He does get a good start. These restarts are on the leader. 35, as long as he's able to cut down in front of that 68, he should be in a good position, but it looks like he's going to try and use that higher line to his advantage.
And Tom Ringer just barrels it off into the corner and gets past Judson Curtis, with Judson Curtis poking that nose back underneath him.
Yeah, and all he did there was kind of gave Judson Curtis a preferred line, easing him down to the bottom a little bit, but that's because the 35 allowed him to. He wanted that lowest line there, and I don't know how you feel, Edwin, but I would want to be in the 35 position.
I have to disagree. I would want to be where the 68 is, And the laps I've turned here, and it's different every time you come to this track. You can't base it off of a one-time experience and think it's going to work. But there is a draft here with this track, and the inside usually is not as fast as the outside. So where that 68 is was perfection. And look how he's now separated away from the rest of that field and chasing down Crosby.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand, the speed aspect of it, you're going to want the higher line up there. You're going to be able to almost keep it flat out. But these guys are notorious for their long runs. They only have 5 laps remaining until 6 laps remaining until the stage break. So you'd really want to be fighting for everything you can. But just getting in that mindset and getting prepared for saving these tires, you're going to want the lower line, talking like lines 2 and 3.
Yeah, the 68 is actually reeling in the 73. Hodge, if you were in the place of that 68, where would you want to be exactly on them, and how would you want to attack that car leading?
I would go a little bit cautious. Just nothing too much. Just stay in the middle line, You got to save those tires. This is a very high usage of a tires track. Yeah, but in the back, I would go probably in the high and then go middle in the corners.
And you say that because that's actually the line the 68 is looking like he's running. He's kind of sticking towards a lane above the 73, but the arrow push has kind of got to the 68, and he's not reeling him in as much as he was before.
Yeah, and you notice he's taking a different line in the turn than the 73 is, but when they get on the stretch, he's doing everything he can to follow the 73 and stay in that draft. He's trying to use that to his advantage so he can catch back up to him.
Yeah, and it looks like the those two have kind of separated themselves, but the 35 is under threat from the 4 car, but also kind of right behind them. It doesn't seem like it, but it looks like the 88 may be under threat from Tad Dabney. Tad Dabney is a little bit more aggressive, so throwing that car where it might seem a little uncomfortable, getting underneath them when they least expect it, that's kind of something he's really good at. So look for him to be making a move here on Hunter Davis.
And of course, as flamboyant as it is, you can't help but notice that beautiful purple, or pink, and what colors do you call that? The 5 truck. You can see him anywhere he is on track. He's worked his way all the way up to 7 from 12.
I'd have to say it's a pink and sky blue because he is moving.
Yeah, post-race inspection is going to be pretty interesting on that truck because I think you put a rocket inside of that thing.
Now, we actually have to set a color for it. We're actually going to call it fuchsia in his blue because there is now a more purplish kind of pinkish car out there now of Jonathan Geist, who is bringing up the rear of the field right now. He's kind of just biding his time, trying to be as patient as possible in the back. He's running a middle line, and he's making sure he's not putting himself in any kind of danger.
Yeah, he's one of those that I don't know how he does it, but he's one of the most patient drivers on track. He always keeps himself in a good position. He takes opportunity where he sees it, and it works out for him.
Yeah, all 3 of us in here, Scott, yourself, so have I. We've all raced against him before. That man understands where to put his vehicle. He may be in the back right now, but don't count him out.
This time by, the caution is going to come out. We are going to go to our stage break. As soon as the top 10 cars pass, and there it is, it looks like we have in first place the 73 of John Crosby, your stage 1 winner, followed by Tom Ringer, Judson Curtis, Chuck Burley, and Hunter Davis is your top 5. Now that we are under caution, we have this first stage break in the book, 15 of 110 down. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the Premier Series on DES.
This looks great. This must be yours. I found it on the kitchen table.
Thanks.
Mommy, have you seen my hamster?
Well, isn't he asleep in his cage?
Have you seen my hamster then?
No.
But honey, go upstairs and look thoroughly. I mean, sure. Probably behind the bed like where you found him last time.
Okay.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are looking at these guys. These leaders have elected to pit here, 73 being the first one in that pole or that first place position. Seems like the whole field has followed suit. What do you guys think? Would you have came into pit? You think you might have stayed out there? What would you guys have done?
I would have came into the pits, get some fresh tires, get a good jump off those after the caution, I mean, it's not always bad to get new tires,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with these leaders coming in. These leaders come in and you stay out. You don't want to be that one guy caught out there on old tires and a track like this.
Yeah, I would have to say, as somebody who would have been out there racing and seen all these guys pushing hard, come down pit road to get a fresh set of tires, I don't want to be that one guy hung out without tires. So I would take tires regardless of how hard I was pushing and get out there and come back to battle them. As we come through pit road, and I'm starting to think maybe Hunter Davis didn't take tires because he's on
Yeah,
track in the front.
looks like there's a lot of people didn't take tires. You have the 88, the 67, 93, 13, 60. They elected to stay out. They must feel that their tires are good. Um, those top guys, they really didn't push it that hard. You know, they seemed like they were just kind of staying where they were and relaxing out there. And maybe that's part of their strategy. They're hoping that we're going to get a mid to late stage 2 caution so they can come in.
And I have to say, for those guys who are looking to battle with them, because there's not a lot of winners out here in the Premier Series. You got Brandon Hinton, Tom Rainer, Hunter Davis, and then some starting part guys who aren't here for this race. You don't want to be out there and know that Hunter Davis is to the point.
Yeah, of course. You know, you got Hunter Davis. You know, I bet you never know. He probably took 2 tires here. Just did a little bit did fuel and 2 tires.
If I know anything about a lot of these guys, they try to avoid 2 tires, but you're not wrong. There is a chance they could have potentially took 2 tires and are out here battling it out. But Hunter Davis is to the point. The first car that was in the lead to come down was Crosby. He's back in P7. But we know for a fact someone like Tom Ringer would have taken tires here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, someone like him, he's going to take tires when he needs it. You know, when everybody else is taking tires, he's going to take it. But you take it here.
And we're going to come down for that green flag right now. Hunter Davis leading the way. Brandon Miles right behind him. Charles Connor, Tanner Honeycutt to his outside. 30 TRN drivers right there in the front. So you know they probably decided something there. But Hunter Davis gets a crazy launch. So I don't think he talked to them about anything. That kind of launch, you didn't talk to nobody about it. You just went for your own thing. And they were out there for themselves.
Yeah, there comes a point when you got to decide if you're racing for yourself or if you're racing for your team. And 9 times out of 10, you know, especially on a restart, you're going to race for yourself.
You know, it's nice to have teammates, but at the end of the day, just because your teammate wins, you still didn't win. You didn't get the points they got. So you still got to be out there for yourself, and that is what Hunter Davis has clearly shown right there. He is going for that 4 in a row. Yes, he's starting it here on lap 20, but starting now versus starting later when you're in P7, very different story. So it's a smart move for him to check out to this lead on those older tires and put a gap. But look who's towards the front. Crosby on those fresh tires into P2.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Did everybody come down pit road? People elect not to take tires?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, everybody. I think Hunter Davis probably did not take tires, but he either took tires, at least 2 tires, or no tires. But yeah, everybody at least took tires, and you can see how it changed up the field.
I'm almost certain Hunter Davis and Charles Connor, in my book, they might have not taken tires. They might have taken it easy on that first stage because look at the momentum the car behind them have, and look how far Charles Connor is dropping. He is still progressing backwards.
See, and right there, you see the 88 drop down. That's a heads-up play from him. He knows that the cars behind him are trying to get that draft, and that he is dropping down to break that. Now, is that the best move, do you think, for him to have killed some of his momentum to do that?
Yeah, I would have to say I agree with him on that. The longer it takes for them to pass him, the better situation he's in. Because, I mean, like I said, Charles Connor started, we got 13 around.
He just kisses the wall. That's that's unfortunate for him, but it like he was able to save it and keep that thing from getting just crushed by that outside safer barrier.
Could we go look at that 13? See what happened here. From the
Nine just
9.
got into the back of him. Just gave him a little bit of an aggressive bump there and got the tire from underneath him.
Looks kind of like the 13's front end was pitching lower than the rest of the vehicle. If you look at this side-by-side angle, you see he's kind of a little off kilter right now. He goes into the corner, and then that front end is just a little deeper than the rest of the car, and he has to check up to catch the vehicle. The 9 car just didn't have time and just ran into the back of him. 23 and 32 both into the wall over that.
Yeah, that 32 just barely got through that, but you could see that he is. I don't think he just barely got through it, but I think it's his passenger. I don't know that back. I don't know that right rear is a little cooked back there. You see it?
Yeah, he might knock the toe out of that thing.
Yeah, he's not good.
And that caution is going to help, Hunter Davis, because, again, he did not. Oh, Crosby hitting pit road. A lot of guys hitting pit road already. Are they going to take some tires, though?
I
4
don't know if
guys
they're
out
going to take
here.
tires. My sources are telling me that they can only get 27 laps out of a full tank of fuel. And if that's the case, right now is going to be about the point where if they pit, get fuel, get back out there, they're going to be able to make it all the way until the end of stage 2. The people that are staying out right now are going to end up having to pit later on.
I would have to say I agree with you on that. They are going to have to pit, but like I said, we talked about Brian Souza, master of the fuel mileage. I think he'd be fine, and he can make it all the way there. If anybody pushes too hard now after they've hit pit road, that's going to cost them.
Yeah, of course it will cost them. You can save fuel, but there's a point where you gotta go into the pits. You gotta pit. Just because you're saving it doesn't mean you can last as long as you want it to.
Yeah, I think some of these guys are really hoping that they're going to be getting some more cautions and banking that they're not going to have to pit under green. If they do pit under green, all these guys that just intentionally gave up positions so they could go and make sure they have enough fuel for the long run are going to come out in a lot better position than these front runners.
Yeah, and again, I got to bring this up. You see them sitting there, P2 and P4, the 2 guys who started up front, who are still on track and still not coming down pit road. They are up there, and Hunter Davis and Charles Connor. So they're really trying to make something work with today. And also, you remember last week, Christian, where we talked about cars having similar colors, the red, white, and black kind of mentality again. Look at the
Absolutely, yeah.
color explosion. I told you it was going to happen, and the color explosion is there.
Yeah, just everybody just loves that red, no matter who you are. I don't know what it is with red, but everybody just thinks that color is just crisp on a
Yeah, and
truck.
those red and black color clashes do look good on trucks, but Edwin, I gotta say it, man, you did call it that it's it's just a crazy explosion of colors out there. Looking at these points here, Edwin, what is your thoughts looking at these point leaders?
Now, looking at these guys, remember only a certain amount of them qualify for the playoffs. As you can see, Hunter Davis leading the points, 13 above Tom Ringer with 3 wins. Remember, those all came in a row. Tom Ringer with 1 win, and then you got Brandon Hinton with 1 win as well. He won the season opener. And so these guys are going to be working hard. That's why you see Crosby up there. Yes, he's in P5, but he does not want to fall behind. Same as Charles Connor and Brian Souza, and Judson Curtis even.
Yeah, the big thing to look at there is the points differential. I mean, we have some of those guys in the top 5 that are less than 10 points away. So the it knowing that, how much more do these stages count for these guys this late in the season?
You got to get stage points. If you're not the points leader, if you're not within the top, let's say top 4 in points, because that's genuinely where you're going to be safe, stage points are crucial.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the winner of the last stage securing 10 points. That's huge when the guys around you might only be 10 points away, 8 points away, or you're only 10, 15 points below the leader. It's every point counts. We're this late in the season. Our playoffs are coming up here within the next month. I mean, these guys, it's do or die time now.
Yeah, if you were a driver in the 11 or 12 playoff position, when do you need to push it in these races? Do you need to push it
Yesterday.
now?
Yesterday.
I
Yeah.
have to agree. Yesterday, you need those points. And I mean, especially when you have the 2 top people in the points, Tom Ringer and Hunter Davis, running 1 and 2 right now on track after Hunter Davis had to battle Chuck Burley a little bit there. You need it to be yesterday. You need to get going because those guys, they're clearly not going to quit. They're not going to take a break. They don't want to run a risk of losing points. So they're going to keep pushing as hard as possible. And look at these guys chucking away at it, getting towards the front. Hunter Davis still in P3 with those older tires.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just want to point out, I mean, the 73 of John Crosby is currently sitting in P6. He is in a position where he's 20 points away from the third place point leader. The next 2 in front of him are the 69 of Todd Perront, currently outside of the top 10, and the 5 of Brandon Hinton, also outside of the top 10. So if he's able to secure good points in stage 1 as he did, at stage 2 as he looks like he's going to be getting some points, and then get a good finish tonight, if those other 2 drivers stay outside of the top 10 at the end of this race, he could potentially move up and take that third place standing in the points.
Yeah, if I was him, I would just keep on just racing your race. Don't focus about points. Just keep on racing. You know, don't worry about who's behind you, who's in front of you. Just focus on your race.
That is a big thing. Some of these drivers do get in their head about where they need to finish because of the points, and they kind of hyper fixate on just that aspect.
And you know, one of the special things that a playoff system really integrates is points racers. You get guys who focus on just points, who want to maximize their point. Yeah, everybody wants to win, but having the points to get into the playoffs to have a better chance of winning the championship, that's something people love, especially when you think about it this way, right? There was almost in the NASCAR Cup Series a champion who won 0 races. Ryan Newman, he almost did it. So it is always possible in this world. And so somebody like Chuck Burley, who hasn't won a race, you know, it's important for him to be running in this P2 position because he's going to maximize his points. As one guy I brought up, Hunter Davis, I said he was running that P2 position. We've gone through 3 laps. He's now to P5.
But one thing about the way that we run these races here in DES is something that I absolutely love. These guys, when they get into this playoffs, their points reset. They're back to 0. So it starts all over again. If they can squeeze into the top 10 and make it into the playoff, they have a shot at winning it. They just have to change their strategy up a little bit. And a car like the 4 of Chuck Burley, we've seen him in the winner circle before. I know he's capable of going out there and maximizing the points and putting himself in those good positions.
While you were talking, we just had a change for the lead. Judson Curtis went up there to Tom Ringer and took that spot away. Now Tom Ringer falling under threat from Brandon Miles now. So we're having a shake up towards the front.
Yeah, you can see that just every lap, these three cars in the top three, Curtis, Miles, and Ringer, are just trading, you know. At least one goes to two, one goes to three, and then the two goes to one, you know, like they're just mixing it all up. And this is just amazing racing in the first 33 laps of this race.
You think that the 68 is trying to just bide his time and save everything he has? Or do you think he's off pace because he's used up what he had?
I think he's used up what he's had, in my
I mean,
opinion.
there's.
Look how far he dropped. Could we
Oh,
go back and
he
see
pitted.
he
The
pitted?
68. Did he pit?
The 67, somebody might have pit. I think the 67 did pit. But I think the reason why he's backing off so much is the fuel.
Yeah,
Tom
I think
Ringer is on pit road.
yeah, he's probably getting some fuel. He's probably gonna half it up a little bit.
Now, they aren't going to go a lap down, but they're going to come really close to it. But now they have those fresh set of rubbers if they did take tires, and they're going to be able to claw their way all the way back up there.
Yeah, they'll be just fine. They'll be probably a little bit. They're gonna be ahead of the pace, so they'll be just fine. I think they'll probably go about in about 8 laps. We'll see how good these cars can run with the Ringer and Burley.
Looking here at an inside view of the 32 of Jonathan Geis. He's running right there next to his teammate. Oh, this isn't Jonathan Geis. There's too many purple cars out there nowadays.
This is the 5
bad.
car. That's the 5 car.
No, that was
Okay.
69.
That was
Todd
69.
Perron.
9. Wow, we got a lot of pink cars, you know.
I was confused. Welcome back. It does look like we are having some drivers electing to start their green flag pit cycles. Just seeing the 88, the 67, those guys that are a lap down, they are just now coming off pit road. We do have about 17 laps until our next stage break. Like I was saying earlier, they can get about 27, 28 laps on a full tank. So they were needing to pit. They pitted too soon with that last stage break, and only doing that. Brian Souza, John Crosby, those guys that pitted earlier, that gave up some of that position, those guys have made their way up into the top 5. Brandon Hinton, he's another driver. Started in the back, like I said. Look at where he is, up in the top 10. This track, it comes down to war of attrition. I mean, they're fighting their tires and they're fighting their fuel levels. They're just going to be doing everything they can to make sure that they can finish the race in the best spot possible. because they're not just racing the cars around them, they're racing the track and they're racing themselves here. Looks like the 13, he's going down, getting ready to go pit and get some fuel. That's going to put him 2 laps down. He was involved in that incident earlier, and the caution has not come back out for him to get his lap back. Hunter Davis, he's back out on the lead lap. Charles Connor, he's going to be the first truck a lap down, sitting in that P14 position. And we did have a change of leaders in 93 of Brian Miles. He's now leading the charge here. He was able to get in front of the 35, Judson Curtis. These guys are fighting close. They are driving, battling it out. They're about a tenth and a half off of each other. Less than a tenth now. 35 looking like he's trying to make a move. But look at third place. Third place is 4 seconds behind. They got some catching up to do here. Todd Braun splitting the difference between those two teammates, the 73 and the 60. 73 a little off pace. He might not have hit it as early as I thought he did. He might be off pace, needing to go down into pit road, get some new tires, get some fuel. Here we are back at Michigan International Speedway. Got 5 laps, about to be 4 laps this time by before our stage break. We have seen a little bit of a shakeup. What did I say, guys? Who was I talking about before the race?
Yeah, and he's up there in P3. He's actually poking his nose in, trying to get for P2 right now. Brandon Hinton, man, that guy knows how to wheel and deal.
He was our last season legacy truck champion, and then he won the inaugural Premier Series truck race, the first race of the season. And I tell you what, we are gonna get used to seeing him up in the booth in podium positions. He's fast out there, man. That sharp color must be shaving off some extra wind or something.
He was the next gen champion.
The next gen champion, that's right.
Yeah, and then he went out and won the first race of next gen and won. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I said he won the season opener of Premier. He did not win that. He won the next race, if I remember correctly. So he knows how to win in whatever the machinery is. But look at him rolling that top side, trying to get that momentum on Judson Curtis.
Yeah, Justin Curtis is he's just keeping him behind him right now. He's just playing the defense mode, but here he comes. Here comes Hinton here. Just
Yeah,
like what y'all were saying.
Also, another driver that we're used to seeing up in the booth, getting wins. He did take a little hiatus, didn't race with DES for a while, comes back and wins it.
Look at that, Brandon Hinton. He's rolling that top side. He's now going to try and use that top side to go after Brandon Miles as well, too. But, oh, look at that. Oh, they collide.
Oh my gosh, he was taking that high side way too much. He just got loose there.
I don't think he
I
got
think
loose. I think he was trying to do a slide job.
All right, we'll be going to a stage break.
Yeah, it looks like he went to dart low to try and get an advantage.
And for
Go to a what happened? Okay. That is going to be our stage break. That was lap 53 coming to 54 when that caution came out. Our stage break was going to be at lap 55. So what a wild finish.
I wonder how much they lost in time. It doesn't look like they lost much. It looked like they were able to come back to it. Brandon Hinton was able to get back into the P4 position. Judson Curtis actually was able to maintain his P2 position as they hit pit road now. I also want to give a quick shout out to, we had a commentator in the broadcast. He said his 2 favorite announcers. I don't know if that's you, Christian, and Scott Hodge. I don't know who it is, but that was nice to see that.
Absolutely. It's always nice to see people get in there and they're probably talking about you and Scott because I'm just here for the fun. I don't really have anything good to input.
You got a lot of good things to say, man. That's why you're in this booth every day.
I'm just fishing for compliments. Thanks, Edwin.
He's definitely saying you two, because I just joined in on this broadcast, so he's definitely talking about you two.
Whoever it was, tell them that they're my favorite person that commented tonight.
Yeah, Goober Snooch.
Yep, that guy.
Appreciate you there, bud. We are definitely trying to put on a good show, talking about everything we possibly can as we cycle through pit stops here for the second stage break right now. And we're going to bring in a guest real quick. It's going to be Mr. Judson Curtis.
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. That had a little bit of a snafu there at the end. Tell us what happened.
I'm not too sure. We had the 88 or somebody come across the nose there. I'm not too sure who it was. but put some duct tape on it. I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, you have this is Scott Hodge in the booth. Why what happened? Just what's your we've completed about 56, 57 laps. What's your thoughts about just the end run of this race? What are you going to do as a driver to get yourself up there to get a win?
I really think you're gonna have to keep the nose of the truck clean tonight and take care of the tires. You can really drive these trucks in here pretty deep, and I don't want to say abuse the tires, but you can definitely eat them up pretty quick. So just take care of the truck tonight. See if we can pull something out of the bag here.
All right, good luck,
well,
man. Good luck.
Appreciate you coming up in here. About to go green. Gonna have the longest stint of the night. We wish you luck up here in the booth, and hopefully we talk to you again here at the end.
Yeah, and Judson Curtis, after cycling through pit stops and everything, he's going to be back all the way to P12. So he might have had to take some time to repair some damage, same as Brandon Hitt, and he's all the way back at P11. So that collision may have been a little more costly to them.
Now, just from what we've seen tonight here, Scott, those two drivers we're talking about, do you think that's going to hinder them any, or do you think we're going to see this next 55 laps, them working their way back up to the front?
It'll hinder them in the early run, but in the late run, I think those two drivers that was in that incident, I think they'll get back up there here soon. You know, Brandon Hinton, he's going to get up there no matter what. No matter what's wrong with the car.
As we got a green flag dropping, it's Brandon Miles out there leading the way. But look at John Crosby shoving Tad Dabney down the front stretch into the corner. They're hoping they could clear and take P2 and P3 away from Todd Perron.
That's one of the cool things about these 2 mile tracks is, you know, it's not a super speedway. You can't hold it flat out the entire time, but there is enough room on these tracks where you can get into somebody and push them out to the front. As Tad Dabney is leading the charge here, see how long he can hold off on this.
That is Tad Dabney's first laps led in the Premier League. And in my time, honestly, he's been so close to leading a race. And just to see him lead even one lap right now is magical. That man deserved that. He needed that monkey off his shoulder so that he could get his head square and understand, yeah, I can lead races. But also, look who's coming into P3. The guy nobody wants to see coming to the front, Hunter Davis.
Yeah, it's always ominous looking in your rearview mirror and seeing the front of that 88 truck, because you know that it's go time. You've got to push harder or get into defense mode, because he is coming whether you like it or not.
What do you think these drivers are thinking about the 88? Do you think they should be racing him competitively, or just like let him go and just let him do his thing? Because some of these drivers, I think they're just worried about his how good he is out there.
What do I, if I am in any of their shoes and I see the 88, my thoughts are, well, it doesn't matter if I try to defend. It doesn't matter how hard I push. He's getting by me.
I'm a little different. If I see that 88 coming by me, I know that that is a race-winning guy right there. A guy who knows how to get it done week in, week out. I'm going to say make him take as long as possible to pass me. Because if I'm running my line, being casual, not burning up my stuff, and I'm making him, forcing him to go somewhere else that he doesn't like, I know I could potentially get him later on in the run. But again, Hunter Davis is smart. He sees somebody blocking him. Like, for instance, look at this. Tad Dabney's right in front of him in the lane that he wishes to run. And he knows, hey, all right, he's going to go there. Let me use my expertise. Let me manage my tires on the high line. And boom, look at him. Right to the top side, trying to go for P2 around Tad Dabney.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with Hunter Davis is he's so patient and meticulous he'll make you think he's going to pass you for 3 or 4 laps just because he's studying the lines you run, the way you're running the track, and looking for any opportunity that he knows where he can make a clean pass at.
And there's a couple guys out here. In my time racing with DESI Racing, there have been times where I've gone, let's go and see who could set the fastest lap, because we were out there practicing and I was running faster than Hunter Davis, Tom Ringer, Todd Perrant, Judson Curtis, all of those guys. I'm running faster laps in practice. Then we go, let's go see who can set the best hot lap. And they'll put over half a second on my time. They are holding back. As you see them all starting to get nose to tail there, don't be surprised if all these guys are holding back. And Hunter Davis is getting close to John Crosby. He's going to run that middle lane. He might try to swing around the outside of that 73. And honestly, this is the first time Hunter Davis has had something to lose. You always have something to gain by going out and becoming a race winner. But when you're a guy sitting on 3 races in a row won by you, you've got something to lose. You don't want somebody to be the first guy to knock Hunter Davis off his throne. So he's kind of probably pushing a little more than he should, but at the same time, he's still being smart about it.
I just want to, not to just change the subject, but look who is working their way about to take P3. The 35 Judson Curtis. Getting involved in that incident, bringing out the caution to end stage 2, has worked his way back up, clawed his way from the bottom, and is now working back to a podium position.
I'm really happy you brought up Judson Curtis, actually. Do you remember last week at New Hampshire? Who was the guy chasing down Hunter Davis, hunting him down the whole race?
It was that was an amazing race. That was so fun to watch. Watching that battle, watching them, the 35 just tearing it down, catching up to him like he did. It was just a awesome display of racemanship.
And that's why I bring that up, because he is, again, in that position. He is the shark, and he smells blood, and that blood is coming off of the 88. Oh, Tom Ringer with a moment out there.
Yeah, these guys know that it's that point in the season. They're going to be getting a little more aggressive than normal, and some of these drivers are going to be pushing their cars to their absolute limit.
Looks like Judson Curtis is pushing that car hard, as he's got a comment from the 9 car behind him saying that, 73 pushed up offline. Judson Curtis is going to go there. So it looks like when a car gets near you, the arrow gets weird on these trucks.
Yeah, I think especially on some of these turns here, you don't want to be the car in front that has somebody right on your bumper. It's going to pick up that rear end and it's going to get you loose.
Now, they do have some more green flag stops to have happen, but in this situation where tires are king, are you pitting first or are you pitting later? What are you doing there? I'm going to start with you, Scott. What would you do? Pit early or pit late? Scott might have stepped away. What about you, Christian Clark?
I'm going to try and undercut everybody. I'm going to try and time it perfectly. If I know I get 28 laps of fuel out, right now we're sitting on 18 laps since we came out. We're sitting on 12 laps since we came out. I'm going to try and make it to lap 80. If I can make it to lap 80, maybe even call it around lap 78. hope that I'm one of the first ones to go out there to where I know I'm going to have enough fuel to make it to the end. That's going to be my play.
If I was on track right now, I would want to be where Tad Dabney is. He's about a second off of the leader, but we know that when he's on fresh tires, he pushes hard and gains a lot of pace. So if I was him, as Judson Curtis is going for the lead, I would pit as soon as the leader does and then chase them the heck down. Judson Curtis to the inside of Hunter Davis. He's going for that race lead. He wants that position.
Let's see if he can make it stick coming out of turn 4 here.
Well, now the thing is, this is the problem that Judson has now created. Hunter Davis can now undercut him. So whoever's in the lead can always get undercut by the person behind them.
Especially with the draft game here. It's huge to get a run coming out of a turn, get on that straight stretch, use up the advantage of the draft of the car in front of you, and slingshot around him into the next turn.
Look who's also lurking there. Tom Ringer, your former points leader, 13 points off of Hunter Davis. He's now looking to try and get up there and battle the 88.
Yeah, we're starting to look a little similar to our original grid. You know, you have the 35 sitting in P1 where he qualified. You have the 68 and the 4. They're getting close up to where they started. You know, the 88, he started a little bit further back in, I believe, 6th place. And these guys are starting to show that they qualified where they really deserve to be on track.
And as Tom Ringer is getting closer and closer, if I was in Hunter Davis' boots, you know, I'd kind of just be understanding he's there. You kind of have to just let that guy go and hope that you don't lose too much time to the leader. Because if you guys get side by side, that leader is going to extend that gap.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to be pushing it out, getting everything out of it that they can, trying to use up what they have left. I think some of these guys are going to pit within the next 6 or 7 laps.
Well, remember, they can only do 27 laps worth of a fuel run. So if you're planning for a green-white checkered, you need to pit later. If you're planning for not a green-white checkered and you're thinking it's going to go green, yeah, you're definitely coming up on that window. Look at how all those 3 leaders right there are running different lines too. So it shows that you can get speed everywhere.
Yeah, that's it. Really, it's just about your preferred line here. I know some people they make an argument about, you know, one line is worse than the other for your tires. Well, I can tell you right now, these drivers out here, especially these front runners, they know how to manipulate their car in every line to maximize speed plus saving their tires. The 68 of Tom Ringer, the 88, 35, those 3 guys know what they have to do, whether they run the top, the middle, or the bottom, to you know, carry speed coming out of the turns, and also how to run it, how to use the throttle, just to make sure that they're not eating up their tires.
And you know, as people who've ran out there before, me and you both have ran laps out here before. And I would have to say that lane right above the bottom is going to be your most comfort zone. And look how Hunter Davis used that line to now put the leader under threat. He is working at it, but remember that side by side always brings the car behind you up to them. As you see now, Tom Ringer is now entering closer and closer to their fight.
Yeah, sorry about that awkward silence there. Sometimes when we have good battles like this, I get so zoned into the race. I'm almost on the edge of my seat and just trying to see what moves these guys are going to make.
I'd have to say I'm the same. Sometimes I just get locked in and I'm just watching because this three-way battle for the front right here. You've got two of the top 2 point standers right here, the two top point standers, and then the biggest threat to their success all battling right there. Yeah, it's going to be hard not to zone into their battles. As even behind them, they're getting squirrely back there.
And of course, coming into the frame, the 5 of Brandon Hinton working his way up into a top 5 position. It looked like Tom Ringer ended up actually getting loose coming out of turn 1 earlier, going into turn 2. Now he's off pace. Hunter Davis, man,
Yep.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Hunter Davis is going to dive to the inside for the battle, but I wanted to bring up two guys to keep their eye on. You already brought up one, Brandon Hinton, but then also think about Brian Souza, two of the best fuel mileage drivers there is. And those guys are lurking back there. They are waiting. That back group is about 3 seconds off on the leaders, but that's nothing when it comes to fuel saving.
Yeah, and the 60, Brian Souza, he's one of my teammates, and I don't know how he does it. I've tried saving fuel. I've tried implementing different things in order to maximize my fuel, and he just seems like he's out there just jamming away, and the fuel's just working on itself.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, honestly. When I look at these things, I'm always like, how does this guy manage to say? I mean, I've seen him in a race where the fuel window's 40 laps and he goes 75. How do you do that?
I mean, he must have a hybrid or something out there, because the way he's able to get it done, I mean, hat off to him. I've got to figure out, get into his brain a little bit and learn something from him.
And you know, one thing I've learned from watching the DES races, commentating, and even racing in them, you know, in real life NASCAR, you have these great things called powerhouses teams. That doesn't exist here in DES. Everybody is able to win the race. And we've seen guys who you'd never think would win the race. Like earlier today, Aaron Underhill was able to take the legacy trucks at Charlotte. You know, guys have won races where you were like, there is no way this guy should have won it. I mean, even myself, when I won Las Vegas, there was no way I should have won that, yet I did. So it's exciting. We're watching these top three, but there's no guarantee that this top three are going to be your race winners.
Yeah, if we look over here, 69 Todd Prawn, he's cutting low, trying to get a 2-for-1 special, pass up that 73, and even try to make some easy work on the 67. But I think it's going to be a little tougher than we think it's going to be out there. This track is deceptive on how you think you're clear and going to make a pass, and you come out of the turn, and just kidding, I'm right back where I was.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like considering John Crosby, he was out there blazing away in the front, and he's still mitigated back in P6. Just got around Charles Connor, but Charles Connor's not giving him a break. Charles Connor is a great driver. He's putting on a good show for that Little Village candle company right now. He's doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, absolutely. He comes out with that new paint scheme, Little Village Candles, a company I believe that he does run. It's amazing artwork on the side of that truck, and being able to get up there in the top 10, hopefully getting up into the top 5. I mean, he deserves it. He comes out week in, week out, puts in a lot of work, and I think we're going to be seeing him up front.
Tom Ringer on pit road, the first driver of the undercut.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right call. He's notorious for undercutting and coming out, you know, in a really good spot. And if I was the 88, I'd be pitting right here as well.
I'd definitely be considering it hard, especially with how close you are to the 35. I'd be hitting pit road, but what he's trying to do, and I think this is what he's trying to do, he's trying to make sure he has the tires and fuel to just push it the entire time as they actually put Tom Ringer a lap down. This is the time right now. Hit pit road. 35 in.
35 calling to pit.
88 as
88 calling to
well.
pit. The 5, who's worked up into a P3 podium position, he's calling to pit. Look at the 88 trying to cut off the 35 and get into pit road before him.
He beats him on pit road. Just barely beats the 35. Now
Man, the
that's
only
gonna help
issue
him a
is
lot.
where 88 has to slow down right there so he can make it into his pit stall.
And he misses his pit stall. He has to back up.
Man, look at all these takers coming onto pit road. Tom Ringer, I mean, I'm telling you, he pitted 2 laps earlier.
Yeah, he's going to have the best advantage right now. Look at the gap between the 88 and the 35 right now. Massive gap between them. Simple overshooting of your pit stall. As the 68 goes around them, he already got his lap back, and now he's looking to take the race lead. Can he get to Judson? That's going to be the thing right there. Can he get to Judson?
You know, he's going to be pushing it like crazy if he can't make it work right here.
And he was not able to get to the 35, but look how close he is, and look how the 88 is 2 seconds behind them now.
Huge gap. Our current race leader, the 60 of Brian Souza, he's calling for a pit. He's going to be coming down to pit road. That's going to make the 35 Judson Curtis be our race leader, followed by Tom Ringer, Hunter Davis, Brandon Hinton, and John Crosby. Going to be your top 5 there.
Interesting shakeup. The 93 of Brandon Miles, he's for some reason a little off the pace. And he's getting caught by the 4 car of Chuck Burley. Which Chuck Burley, another guy you want to call out. He's got that Rat Fink Designs on his vehicle. He makes custom paint schemes, and man, does his truck look really good today.
Yeah, he's one of those that every week he comes to the track, you know you're going to be looking for his truck to see what scheme he's running because he always has something good.
He's always looking beautiful. I mean, he made the 56 his truck as well, and that thing is amazing. We're used to seeing from the old school days, if anybody was watching beforehand, the 56 used to be in a bright orange truck with just black letters 56 on it, and they have changed him up a lot.
And there for a while, he was the only one running an orange truck. So you could look out there and not even have to see the number on his car, and you knew that it was him because he was orange and black.
Oh yeah, and it's absolutely amazing to see him out there in something new. And again, we're gonna bring up a point that our commentator who is watching made. Everyone is on the same setup. It comes down to the racer and strategy to win. And as we've seen a massive strategy shakeup, Judson Curtis maintains the lead. Tom Ringer has jumped Hunter Davis, and they've got him down about 1.5 seconds right now.
Yeah, you know, that actually brings a good point. I'm glad that they mentioned that. I don't know if we've ever talked about this because in the DES world, it's just understood amongst drivers is these are fixed races. You know, so we don't run an open setup. We run a fixed setup. All these drivers, they're all set the same. The only thing they can change is, you know, their brake bias, their steering wheel angle, really nothing that's going to give them anything to make them faster. It's all comes down to the skill of the driver and the strategy that they run. So I mean, good. Appreciate you pointing that out because that's it really just shows the smart or the thinking of these drivers and what they have to deal with besides just driving around a track.
Yeah, things get a lot tough as you see Tom Ringer starting to try and battle with that 35. He's really wanting to get around him, but notice how they're fighting. Remember, Hunter Davis was over 2 seconds behind them, and that gap was closing fast. So he is trying to get up there to him. So the more these guys battle, the more likely Hunter is to come up here and hopefully do the 4-peat versus just a 3-peat. And he gives the 35 almost a shot. He got really close to giving him a shot in the rear end, but instead he lets him go, lets him drive down to his bottom line. But the 68, look at him, his momentum is carrying him through. He is coming for that lead. He wants to be out front with 20 to go here today.
Now, watching these guys do that, do you like driving on the apron, kind of undercutting that dog leg a little bit on the tri-oval?
I said 20 to go, I meant 30 to go, but no. I absolutely hate that. Oh, caution! That is not what these guys
that
want to
is
see.
not at all what they wanted to see. See what happened looking at the 9 of Tad Dabney.
That Dabney just kind of looked like he was aiming to go to pit road, just cut down the wheel too hard and snapped himself loose.
Yeah, it looks like he was slowing down, like he was trying to make it down there, and just from having to check up so much, got that truck loose.
And he was having such a good day, and just right there, it was cooked away right there in that moment. Yeah, as you see, he cuts down, gets that arrow from the 69, which is going to obviously upset the truck.
Yeah, man, that's unfortunate here, but here we are, 18 laps to go. These leaders did not want to see that caution come out.
But here's the benefit. Remember, they can only go about 27 laps. If they pit now, they're all good to the end.
And here you go. You called it. A lot
Hunter
of these
Davis
guys are going to be
stayed
Hunter
out.
Davis stayed out.
Risky move. He's got 9 laps on those tires unless he was conserving them. I mean, again, you can only go about 27 laps. He's already 9 laps into the hole. That puts him at 16 laps to the good.
He might have made the right call.
I don't think so, especially when his competitors are all getting tires. He's going to be out there on an island by himself. He has to hope a caution comes out in the next 16 laps.
Look at the 5. Where did he come from?
And look at that.
I
Also,
think he just got a
Crosby jumping
splash
the
and go.
68.
A lot of these guys might have just either taken 2 tires or just took some fuel. Interesting strategies here by these guys. Looking at where we're sitting on standings versus points, Hunter Davis sitting in P1, also in the lead for points. You got Tom Ringer in P2. He was sitting in second in the standings. Look like he's being scored in 6th. Todd Perront in 3rd, sitting in 10th place, trying to maximize his points. Brandon Hinton in 4th. He's currently sitting in 5th, rounding out your top 5 there. John Crosby sitting in 5th in points. He was one that I was talking about earlier, was only a few points away from pushing himself into the top 3. He with a good pit strategy that hopefully works out for him, he's sitting in 4th place.
Here's the crappy part for Hunter Davis, who is your points leader. He has about 15 laps before it goes green. It's going to be 15 laps to go. He should make it on fuel, but he does have 10 laps on his tires. The next person, Sean Dion, has 9. Then the row right behind him all hit pit. But you did call out Crosby and Judson Curtis probably took only splash and goes. So he might have a little bit of buffer, but I know for a fact Tom Ringer did take tires and he is starting P6. So it's all about managing it now.
Yeah, and I suspect these next couple laps, especially all the way to the green, these guys are going to be pushing these trucks to their absolute limit. They're going to be trying to get everything that car has out of them.
I'm really curious to see how this goes right now. You know, these guys have their work cut out. As pace car goes down, we're getting ready to go green right now.
It's on that leader, the one that stayed out.
Big jump. There was a gap between him and Judson Curtis, about a half a car length. It allowed him to launch hard as the 3 car is having to defend off the 73 right now. Judson jumps in front of the 3 car, Sean Dion, and Hunter Davis is looking to check out.
At 73, he gets a good start. He was able to, kind of finagle his way in between the 3 and the 5 there and take that 3rd position.
We've got a David versus Goliath moment right here at the front. Justin Curtis to the inside of the 88. Arrow pushes him up the track, and that's going to cause the 88 to move high. 73 is going to be going for it now.
15 laps to go here. 73 trying to undercut and make a move there on the 35.
Now they're side by side. That's going to keep the 88 right there with him. He's going to pull up to those guys, see what he can do.
Oh, and we got a wreck in the back.
Big wreck in the backstretch. Big wreck in the backstretch.
Caution does come out, and that's going to have the 73 of John Crosby sitting in that 1st place position. Let's go back and look at that wreck, see what happened. I heard somebody come over the radio and say we were 3 wide.
Looks like Brian Souza, 93, and Charles Connor were involved. So we're going to take a look at Charles Connor right now.
Charles Connor looks like he's trying to push a 3 wide, get around that 3 car.
He's got some momentum. He's trying to make it work, and it doesn't seem like it does right away. They get into the corner. 93's there, 60's there. Oh, 93 came up to try and get right behind the vehicle in front of him with Chuck Burley and didn't realize that he was in a 3 wide situation.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially this late in the race. Don't really know what kind of damage these guys got or where it's going to be putting them out there on the track, but looks like the 60 was able to come down off track.
Yeah, he came down into the 93 actually a little bit, but I mean, that's just you fighting for the same real estate. You can't be mad at each other over that. 88 on pit road.
Interesting here. Coming on pit road, going to get some new tires. Giving up that position he had. Maybe he thought better after that run on how his truck was running. Taking left side or right sides.
Tad Dabney calling out he's the lucky dog coming high. And that's going to put him on the lead lap now.
How many laps does the 73 have on his tires there?
The 73, Let's see how many laps he got there. Mr. Producer.
5 laps, so he pitted with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, he got 5 laps on his tire. Do you think Hunter Davis can do anything from where he's going to be at right now?
I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. You know, these guys only having 5 laps on their tires. That's really not a whole lot of laps in respect of we just went 3 laps on green, and we're working on our third here of caution laps. So we should be going side by side this time by.
But take a quick second to get something to drink and then come back here for this exciting portion here. I'll be back before they go green.
Yeah, the lights are off on the pace car. These guys are going to line up side by side, getting ready to go green here. This is going to be a fight all the way down to the very end here.
And we are double file on the backstretch.
See some of these guys warming up their tires, getting ready to go.
If anybody has to go, it's Hunter Davis back there in the 88. He's got to get going if he thinks he has a chance to win this race. He's going to have to sail it around that outside, which is something possible to do here for the 10 laps we'll have, 11 laps we'll have left. You can get it right up there and sail around the outside.
Yeah, the one thing he's going to have to worry about is cold tires on this hot track. If he does it right, he can, on this restart, keep it all the way to the floor on that outside. If nobody gets in his way and hinders his movement, he can gain quite a bit of position here on the start.
As we go green, Crosby jumps to the front, and look, there's the guy you called out, Brandon Hinton. He's ducking in, trying to get that P2 position. As Tom Ringer gets close, he gets clipped by his teammate, gets loose. And he loses a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, but he was able to save it, and we stayed green. So that's the biggest thing there. 73 trying to cut down, break that draft, but the 35 was in the back of the 5, pushing him along. So
definitely pushed the 30. Yeah, he pushed the 5 car up. The 5 car was definitely trying to go to the bottom, but when you have a truck right there on your rear end, it's hard to duck it down to the bottom.
All these guys trying to push as much as they can. See if we can get that scoring tree brought up, see where everybody's sitting at. The 88 sitting in 8th place.
Tom Ringer trying to trickle his way back up there. He's in the P4 position. Crosby holding off Judson Curtis right now. But look who's in P3. Chuck Burley. That's his highest running position all day. Is looking to try and make something happen today.
35 trying to use that outside. Keep that momentum.
They know they've got to fight hard. They know every inch matters. So they are pushing their trucks right now to the limit.
35 cuts the 73 off from the bottom there.
73 going to try and cross him over and get back to his inside. 35 says, no, sir, that's not going to happen.
No slide job for you. Look at that 4 trying to make a move.
Back up top goes the 73. He is battling hard. He's going to try and take that position back from the 4.
Four's just got to use that side draft here. Keep the 73 from being able to get to the bottom side. If he
4
can
car's
do
gonna
that,
actually go to the point right now.
4's slingshotting his way up into the front.
Got a
73
little-
doing everything he can to try and protect that bottom side. That's
4 car
where
got a
he
little
needs
loose
to be.
on. Yeah, that's exactly where it needs to be. 4 car gets a little loose, and now look at that 73 coming back around.
Looks like the 73 might have gotten a little bit of a bump from the 4, got loose before he went into the turn.
But he is there. He is lurking. Look at that. Tom Ringer also trying to get into P4, but look who's right behind Tom Ringer. Actually going to take it 3 wide on him, and he's going to try and go for a new position. Hunter Davis coming back towards the front. 73 into the back.
'88 said he wants a piece of this pie. Joining the party.
I've never seen a level of determination like this from all these guys. Look at them, all determined, fighting for every inch. What can you do?
Man, just swapping positions, kind of letting the 35 run away with it. He knows that as long as he runs his line and he keeps up the momentum he has, he's going to let those guys behind him battle it out and take care of themselves.
But look who's creeping up. They've got to sort themselves out because look who's there. The 88. He is trying to come up and battle for P4/P3. 73 kind of pushes the 5 into the wall. Look who's
I would say
there.
Here comes the 88, all the way from 8th after that late pit on those fresher tires.
Can it be? Can 5 laps worth of tires be this much of a difference? Look at the 88 coming into P3 right now. 2 hard-hitting trucks in front of him. He's got to dispatch Chuck Burley as well as, remember I said David versus Goliath. The Goliath is the 88, but David is the 35. Can he get up there and battle him?
I think in this case it's Davis versus Goliath. He's trying to make a move on the 4 there. Coming out of turn 4, door to door.
I think they made a little bit of contact there. He is pushing that truck. Oh man, I feel we're getting to the point where we got to be silent and let the racing go because that 88 is in motion. Look at this, Charles. Look, sorry, I said Charles. Christian. Look at this, man, as they are coming up on the lap car of Charles Connor. Look at this. He is within a car and a half of the 35 right now. 5 lap different tires. He's getting to the inside 35. 35 blocks his nose. 88 goes up high. 88's going to launch it into the corner. 35 is going to barrel it down on the bottom. 35 is going to actually maintain the position, but the 88 is going to have some momentum going for him here on the outside. He's going to dart down to the inside, goes back to the top side. 35 is trying to cover him off. They go back into the corner.
Coming here, this time by is going to be 1 to go. White flag's about to be waving. They are, just right there. 88 going to try and go for a slide job. 35's cutting him off. He's not just going to let him take it. He is in full defense mode here.
35 is blocking the lane of the 88. 88's going to follow in his tire tracks, move up just a little bit higher on the track, try and gain some momentum right there around the outside. And it looks like he does. He gets into the wall.
He gets into the wall.
He gets into the wall, but can he send it off into turn 3 and 4 to battle back on the 35? It looks like he's going to try his hardest.
Right here, he's got to give it everything it's got. Don't lift.
and 35 is going to take it today and win here at Michigan. 88 is going to follow it up in the P2 position. The three-peat will not become a four-peat. It will be a three-peat with a P2.
Man, what a battle right there. Those guys up front put on a show. Looking at our top 10 finishes, we got the 35 Judson Curtis, the 88 Hunter Davis, Chuck Burley in that 4 car, Tom Ringer in 60 in that 68, the 73 of John Crosby. That's your top 5.
I was sweating, man. I thought the 88 might have actually had a true chance as we've got our P3 finisher here. Chuck Burley, man. How was that race?
Yeah, hey guys, that surprised me there a little bit. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I burnt my stuff up there at the end trying to get past those guys, but I did pull back to 3 after having some tire damage and started 11th, I think. So I had to burn them up to get there, and then I just had to settle in for 3rd, which is fine.
Chuck Burley, I've got to call it out, man. You've got your beautiful paint scheme on, and you put it on a podium position right now. You drove a heck of a race. I think your highest running order position was what, P2? You worked out there, man. Was the track hard to drive?
It was after the first 10 or 15 laps. It was definitely. I mean, it just depends, right? You had to give it everything, or you were going to lose too much distance to the leaders, and then after about 15 laps, it was totally gone, right? So on and off the throttle, fishtailing all over the place, but it made for a fun race.
My man, you put on a heck of a show, and it's always fun watching you run out there, man. Congratulations on the P3 finish. You deserved every bit of it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And great job in the broadcast.
Thank you, sir. We're going to try and move on to our P2 finisher, who's right above us, Mr. Judson Curtis. Actually, we got Mr. Hunter Davis in here, our
Hunter
second place finish.
Davis.
Sorry.
Man, Hunter, you had a great race out there. You ran up front. You ran a lot of laps, man. There with, I mean, not many laps to go. You made a questionable call. I didn't know how it was going to work out for you. You come out of the pits sitting at the pretty close to the rear of the field, man. Like, what did you have to do to get up there and be fighting that hard at the final laps to get the second place?
So, I mean, it kind of all came down to a strategy. You know, we had about 15 to go when that last caution came out. I knew either everybody was going to pit or everybody was going to stay out. I kind of wanted to do the opposite of what everybody else did. As soon as I saw the leaders pulled down, I stayed out, and I was kind of banking on, you know, cautions breed cautions. We're 15 to go. I bet there's going to be some sort of late race caution. And once you get about 15 to 20 laps on those tires, I mean, you're about 2 seconds slower than guys on fresher tires. So that was kind of the game plan that I had. I mean, it came down to, you know, I only had 5-6 lap fresher tires, but I mean, it still made a difference there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen time and time again that you've always been able to make really good strategy calls there. Now, there at the very end, you coming out of the last lap, you kind of got into the wall there. I mean, was that just you pushing hard, or you think that was just hard racing between you and our race winner tonight?
I mean, that was just some hard racing. You know, we were both fighting for some real estate. He kind of ran me up a little bit, which, you know, no fault to him, man. Congrats once again to Judson. That was some awesome racing there at the end. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to see you back in here. You won 3 in a row. Now you're sitting in second place. You're still sitting number 1 in the point standings, man. What do you have to focus on going forward, knowing that the playoffs are just around the corner?
I mean, the biggest thing is consistency, right? You got to learn to finish the races with solid finishes. So if you go out and from the start of your season, you say, I want a top 5 or a top 10 every race from here until the end of the season, right? Those points are still going to produce, right? Points are going to be wiped here once the playoffs start. So my goal is just to kind of stay up there towards the regular season, maybe win a regular season championship, and then carry that momentum into the playoffs.
Well, man, congratulations on your P2 tonight. You gave it a hell of a run, and you really deserve it, man. So looking forward to seeing you running the rest of the season, and have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Once again, congrats to Chuck on that third place finish. Congrats to Judson on that win. It was some awesome racing out there. Thank you all for putting on this broadcast here tonight.
Absolutely. Bringing up our race winner, Judson Curtis, in the 35.
What's
Man.
going on, y'all?
Judson, you had your work cut out for you. I mean, you were up front. You had a guy go from ninth back marker all the way up there to you, and then you had to battle hard. Tell me about those last 2 laps.
Man, I was worried about it, man. I saw Hunter come in and grab that extra set that he had laying in there, and I was thinking that was going to be the winning call. He had a fast truck. I probably ran him a little bit high there on that last lap there, but we had to do what we had to do to put it in victory lane. And Louisiana hot sauce was hot tonight, so we're gonna drink some beer and make it even spicier.
Absolutely, man. I mean, coming out of that turn last lap, you kind of got a little bit high on the 88. That's just part of racing, man. I mean, were you just giving it everything it had and just hoping for the best, or walk us through that final lap there?
I really was. Like I said, I mean, Hunter had the fresh set of tires back there, so I knew he'd have me beat. I just kind of had to make the truck a little bit wider to secure that number 1 spot there. Anytime you can race with Hunter, Hunter's a great driver. We always put on a good show, so I always enjoy racing with him. So props to him, and it was a fun race. I'm glad we could get it done.
I got one more question for you, Judson Curtis. Last week at New Hampshire, you had a serious opportunity to stop him from getting the 3P, and you just came up ever so slightly short. Man, did you have a chip on your shoulder today? Because I felt like when you saw that 88 get big in the rear view, you kicked it into a whole nother gear to try and beat that truck.
I did, man. Like I said, anytime Hunter and me get on track, we put on a good show. I always enjoy it, but he has gotten the best of me, I think, almost every time. So I kind of had that in the back of my mind, like, let's just put it in victory lane one time, and I'll probably be happy.
Absolutely, Judson, man. Congratulations on the race win. It was a nail biter of a victory, man. You deserved every bit of it. Hunter Davis, congrats on his P2. Chuck Burley, congrats on his P3, man. You guys are next level, man. I could only imagine to be out there competing with you guys.
And that was a great race. I wasn't even in a driver's seat, and I was on the edge those final laps, man. That was awesome. But I appreciate you guys being here. As always, Edwin, great broadcasting with you, man. Everybody that was watching came in and commented. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Let your friends know, come race with us next week for premiere. We got Martinsville in the trucks. Going to be a good race. Tomorrow night we got New Hampshire in the Xfinity. Come out and watch that, and appreciate you guys stopping by tonight.
Absolutely phenomenal race. We also want to give a shout out to our special guest broadcaster who had to go halfway through the broadcast, Scott Hodge. Appreciate you, everything you did. Damon O'Brien, everything you do in the booth is absolutely amazing, especially with your new things you've added in this week. And thank you, Christian Clark. But we'll see you in the next one. See ya.
See ya.